Enforcement. I've always been a true crime nerd, into mysteries and things like that. So I decided to pursue law enforcement.
And you mentioned that you got into the law enforcement business because you're CSI TV junkie of sorts. Did I understand you to say that?
No, she did.
I was.
Okay, and
whether you're this way or this way, right?
Correct.
Either underneath or underhead. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, we're here yelling. Take it easy. That right? Shock and awe.
Did he look like somebody who just changed his clothes?
Yes.
Ooh.
This is for the
Oh! Oh!
response, Mr. Meadows.
I couldn't hear what he said. I'm sorry. Did those clothes appear to be fresh?
They did.
Like they just come out of the laundry?
It could be.
Let's go, baby.
That's all we had.
Blinging, shining in the light. That's reflective. That's how white that shirt is. No, it's just probably the lighting in the angle. Like it has its own light source.
It was raining that night, wasn't it?
It started to rain before we did our interview.
The clothes that you saw him wearing sitting in the car?
Correct.
And it's your testimony those clothes look like they're freshly washed.
He's sweating and they are dry, so I would say yes.
Before we get into today's video, make sure you check out my sponsor, DataSeal, to protect yourself from people hunting you and doxing you online. Use the link that I provided down below and save 5% off. And also check out the free scan to see what's out there with these data brokers on you. Your information is being sold by data brokers all the time. It's easy for anybody to look up your information using people search websites. They can find your home address, date of birth, email address, phone number. Dataseal.io is the data removal and monitoring service I trust to remove my information from the internet. Click the link below and use the code 5OFFALL to save 5% off your DataSeal subscription. Alex Murdaugh is seen talking to cop and wearing clean white t-shirt moments after he found his wife and his son shot dead in pools of blood at his hunting lodge. Body cam footage from night of double murder is released. New images from police body cam footage show Alex Murdaugh wearing a clean white shirt on the night of his wife and son's murder. It lines up with the police testimony that the disgraced attorney had no signs of blood after calling 911 about the bloody double murder. Prosecutors alleged Murdaugh shot his wife, Maggie, and younger son, Paul, in his South Carolina hunting lodge to distract from his legal troubles. This is despite first responders in court Thursday describing in gruesome detail to the jury how his wife and son had been found in pools of blood after they were shot in the head, with his son's brains blown by his ankles. Prosecutors allege that Murdaugh carried out the murders to gain sympathy and distract attention from his damning financial crimes. His clean-looking white shirt has been scrutinized during the 5th day of his trial. That shit glistening, shining, bro. That shit got like a sparkle to it, Mr. Sparkle. New images from police body cam footage show Alex is wearing a clean white shirt on the night of his wife and son's murder. Oh, so this is a nice picture we can see here too. Explosive testimony. So we saw this detective Laura Rutland, and it was interesting. She says how Murdaugh remained clean despite telling officers he touched the bodies to check their pulses. And this is why the defense was trying to argue, but did he say where he touched their bodies to check the pulses, you know? Rutland confirmed that Murdaugh told police he checked Paul and Maggie's body for a pulse when he found them, but that the disgraced legal scion didn't have a speck of blood on him when officers arrived. She said his hands, arms, t-shirt, shorts, and shoes were all clean. And they were trying to argue, but it's khaki. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, but what color is that? And she's like, okay, green khaki. And so I guess they feel like they got her on that, even though khakis, to me, khaki typically is that beige color, but khaki has, if you type in Google khaki, there's all kinds of colors.
Those are shorts he was wearing?
Yes.
Are those khakis or green?
khaki style, green.
Okay.
Khakis can be different colors,
That's all, you can take it then.
right?
That's all the questions we have, Your Honor.
That's it?
You read that right.
Khaki gate? That's all y'all guys, this khaki bullshit? Are those really khakis?
Listen, Ash.
And so you can refer to khaki as if you're thinking in color, but usually typically khaki to me is like a specific type of shorts and pants that come in a variety of colors. I mean, you can look on websites, the fact check websites, which I kind of like take those sometimes with a grain of salt. Is khaki considered green? It depends on who you ask. Strictly speaking, when referring to the color, the term khaki refers to specific shades of brown. That means that khaki, in a sense, cannot be used to describe shades of green. However, as with all things, styles and definitions evolve today. Khaki is not only used to refer to a specific color, but also a style of clothing. So it really depends. I don't think this was like the needle and the hate. Wait, is that the right word? Not the needle and the hate. The knife in the coffin? Knife in the coffin, right? Whatever. Is the individual that you described as clean head to toe sitting in this courtroom? And she said, yeah, he's sparkling. That motherfucker's sparkling. Defense attorney Jim Griffin, however, questioned how Murdaugh could have been clean of any blood if he allegedly shot and murdered his son and wife. All right, so yeah, if he did all this shit, how is he so whatever, clean and stuff? Suggesting that the defendant should have been covered in blood and brain matter. When questioned again by prosecutors, Rutland said it looked like Murdaugh changed clothes following the murders. Ooh, and you know they didn't like that shit. When they said that, when she said that, ooh. She also noted that it was odd that Murdaugh was sweating. I'm over here popping oxys and perk and Molly. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's just gum. When police arrived, but his clothes were dry.
The individual in this courtroom who told you he tried to take the pulse of Maggie and Paul is the individual in this courtroom who told you he tried to turn Paul over. Told you that once, twice? Is the individual in this courtroom that you took that statement from, that we saw in this video, in this courtroom, and is the individual you described as clean from head to toe in this courtroom?
Yes, he is.
Please point him out for the jury.
He's sitting at the defense table wearing a grayish brown jacket and a white shirt.
Your Honor, we'd like the record to reflect she has pointed out the defendant, Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
It does.
Thank you, that's all I have.
But supposedly there were specks of blood on the shirt. So this shirt, I guess after they got done testing this shit, they tore up the shirt. Like it's unusable now. Look at this shit. So we have khaki gate, which is very small, but we have t-shirt gate, which is bigger, more of a problem. And so basically these people, the state's people, have tested this shirt to the point of there's no testing that can be done anymore. And the defense wanted to have their own people. And so it says here, last week, the defense filed a motion for sanctions that pushed to have testimony from the state's preferred blood spatter expert thrown out, as well as a new motion from the defense also challenged a second blood spatter expert hired by the state. At the center of the blood spatter dispute is the stained white t-shirt Murdaugh was wearing the night of the slayings. And I believe this is the same t-shirt that he was wearing in the car with that interview that we saw. And so following the Murdaugh's arrest, the shirt was subject to various tests by the state, ultimately cut into several pieces and rendered nearly black, which both sides have acknowledged means the shirt is effectively destroyed and unsuitable for evidentiary purposes. A substantial part of the prosecution's case against Murdaugh relies on the photographs of the shirt prior to its destruction. This is definitely the same shirt he was wearing in the car. And this is prior. The Murdaugh shirt can be seen over time as it was subject to testing that destroyed its evidentiary value. Boom, boom, boom. Both defense and prosecution acknowledge the likely presence of blood on the shirt, but that is where the disagreement between the parties stops. The defense argues that any blood present is only on the bottom third and was transferred there when Murdaugh touched the bodies of his wife and son after he had found them and frantically checked them for signs of life. And so this is the whole conversation where, if we've been watching the trial, they keep talking about that, he said that he checked the pulse, but he didn't say where he checked the pulse, and people were arguing, if he would have checked their pulse, he would have had blood on them. But then they're saying, well, he didn't say where he checked. And now this whole t-shirt gate problem with the whole these people over testing. And so they're relying on pictures before this thing was turned into the picture I showed you before, which over here, maybe it looks like, yeah, I guess this is blood here, unless this was part of testing. It looks like there's the lower third, what they're talking about, maybe even something here. Meanwhile, prosecutors say the front of the shirt has over 100 high velocity blood spatter stains that likely occurred from the shotgun blast that killed Paul Murdaugh, a conclusion based on analysis of Tom Bevel, a former Oklahoma police officer who owns and operates a self-described forensic education and consulting company, which that was kind of like a big part of the argument too, as far as like whether you believe there was enough blood or not enough blood, or whether you believe his shirt was changed or not, that if he shot his son, Paul, I mean, the guy, they describe it so graphically that his brain was blown out and it was on the floor, and like the only thing left was like the front part of his face or something, and everything else from behind was like blown off. And so they're saying they would think there'd be way more blood than these little blood spatters if he's the one that did that. And so the defense has challenged Bevel's credentials and methodology in numerous pretrial motions, noting that in January 2022, he issued a report that said that stains on the shirt were consistent with transfers and not back spatters from a bullet wound. So, and I'm not sure exactly what that means. I think transfers meaning that maybe they're saying if he was checking the pulse or something like that, and not from somebody shooting the gun. The back spatter, the blood that would have flown back from shooting somebody that close, probably. I'm assuming, not too sure. Maybe you guys can comment down below. The defense argued in motions to limit Bevel's testimony that it was only after an in-person visit from South Carolina law enforcement, it says here, that he changed his mind about blood spatter on the t-shirt. The defense also claims that the state had to lie to him about what state ordered testing of the shirt showed. So what the test showed. In last week's motion for sanctions, the defense said tests on every cutting from the upper 2/3 of the shirt tested negative for human blood, noting that hemotrace test is highly sensitive and able to detect as little as 4 micrograms of blood in a sample, roughly 15 times smaller than a single grain of table salt. Wow. Murdaugh's defense claims they were unaware of the shirt's slow destruction until they requested an independent laboratory analysis of the garment late last year. In response, the state said the shirt had inadvertently turned black. Look at this. And could not be subject to meaningful microscopic photography. In the late November motion, the defense described the shirt as completely blue with stains that were blue, fuzzy, diffuse, and bled out. Their features lost forever. Another defense motion describes the shirt as violet. So yeah, I mean, this shirt is gone. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. We're going to be here tomorrow with the trial, full day, Monday morning. I'm going to put the link in the comment section below, as well as data seal. I'm going to include 2 more clips in this video that have one, which is kind of funny, just me going off with the whole Alex Murdaugh thing, the pronunciation that they're saying it is. And also this clip where I feel like they were trying to trip her up a little bit, or they were trying to catch her in a slip up, this witness and the defense. Do we got anything else? Alex Murdaugh. So is it Murdaugh or is it Alec Murdaugh? Which one is it? Which is the one they're saying being mispronounced? Is it Alec or Murdaugh? Diggs texted me this morning telling me. So, oh yeah, somebody posted on Twitter. By the way, it's Murdaugh. Why would I pronounce Murdaugh? I feel like I made a little rant to Diggs. I really feel like there's people out there that have the need to always feel special and shit. So they just want to make up their own pronunciations from everything that we've been taught. I'm not the best reader or anything like that, right? People make up shit in their head and they want to go their entire lives correcting people for what we're sounding out. How the hell? Let me get the tweet. It's Murdaugh. Excuse me. Murdaugh. My entire life I'm just going to go correcting people. I feel good correcting people. No, iCkEdMeL, actually the something silent and the G is pronounced as a C all of a sudden. And you didn't know that? It's always something like that, right? It's Murdaugh. Make sure you get the alleged killer's name correct. Offensive. Who came up with that? Is there something I'm missing? Is it from another language or something like that? Are they trying to distance themselves from their last name sounding like murder? And so Murdaugh sounds like a better alternative. By the way, it's Murdaugh. How? Where the hell am I seeing that this is supposed to be pronounced as Murdaugh? I'd like to know. What's the English majors at? Because they always here to correct me and shit. Scottish? People saying he's Scottish? I just think they want to get away from the murder sounding name. Now that this whole trial, trying to get the jurors to, disassociate with murder from Murdaugh and murder, 2 and 2, so it must be he's a murderer, right? Allegedly.
That the boot prints were not yours in these photos, right?
That is correct.
But now you told the jury that the boot prints are yours.
That's incorrect. Those are not my boot prints.
Okay. Whose boot prints are they?
I don't know.
Oh, so okay.
Oh,
That's why I get to do this. So,
Objection to his comments.
damn it. I missed a couple of seconds. I wanted to see
Those
that.
questions.
so you don't know whose boot prints those are.
No.
In rewatching the part where the defense mentions the shoe print, I think they actually did a good job with that, even though I guess they were trying to catch her in something, but also it still begs the question, well, whose footprint is this? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. Take care of yourselves, and peace. Bloop, bloop.